Happy Monday, everybody, and welcome to Monday's maths lesson. So we are going to start with the counting sticks. So as you hear, why don't you hold that, Mr. Lake?
There we go.
So let's get started. Okay, so everybody, count along at home, please. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. 55, 60. Okay, now let's say as a times table. Okay, so 1 times 5 is 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 3 times 5 is 15. 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. 6 times 5 is 30. 7 times 5 is 35. 8 times 5 is 40. 9 times 5 is 45, 10 times 5 is 50, 11 times 5 is 55, 12 times 5 is 60. Okay, good job. Now please practice that at home later today, and then tomorrow when we do this we're going to get a little bit more tricky. We're going to remove some of these and see if you can remember them. Okay, now let's go on to today's lesson. Now, Mr. Lake. Actually, I'm sorry, this is a bit weird. I'm really hungry. I'm gonna have a sandwich. Do you mind? I'm gonna get my sandwich. Just open this up. You okay?
Yeah, well now I'm quite hungry.
Oh, right. Do you want some?
Yeah, I would quite like some, yeah.
Okay, oh, well, I've got my knife over there, I'll just cut it. Okay, just a moment. Okay, here you are. Here's your piece,
Very well cut.
Mr. Lake. Yes, I got it in exactly the same size. I was very careful about that. And then here's my piece. So at home, how much of my sandwich have I given to Mr. Lake? Okay, now hopefully you said a half. I have given Mr. Lake a half. He's got half. I've got a half. Okay, so today we are going to be learning all about fractions. And that's basically all there is to it. It's very, very easy, this, okay? So half, half, to whole. Right, so next slide, please, Mr. Lake. Right, now, here is a nice, yummy pizza. Okay, now the good news is, I get to eat the whole pizza, okay? It's all for me. Now, if I'm writing this as a fraction, I'd write it like this. So I've got my line in the middle. So all together, there is one pizza, right? And the bit that I get, well, all of it, I get one bit, okay? So I get one whole, and that's how you would write it as a fraction, okay? Next slide, please, Mr. Lake. Now, this is a bit more exciting. This pizza has been cut in half. Okay, so we've got this bit here, that's going to be yours, Mr. Lake.
Brilliant.
And this piece here, that is all for me. So to write this as a fraction, okay, so we did have it like that, it was a whole pizza, but now we've split it into halves, okay? So what we have, we've split it into how many different bits?
2.
2 bits. So down here, now this, the fancy name for this bit, we call that the denominator. Okay, but we split it into 2 bits. Now the bit on top, the bit that I'm gonna have, well, how many bits am I gonna have? 1 bit. Okay, so I've got 1 bit. So I've got half. That is how we write half as a fraction.
And actually, I've got 1 bit as well. So I've got 1 bit. There were 2 because it was in halves. I've got 1 bit, so we both got 1 half.
Half, yes, we've both got 1 bit out of the 2, half.
Nice.
Okay, so you might see, as you do more math, you might see half written like this, H-A-L-F, or you might see it written as a fraction, one bit out of 2 bits, okay? Now, very exciting. Our pizza has been split up into even more bits. Can you see how many bits it's been split up into? Okay.
4.
Yes, 4 bits. Now it's very important, they're all exactly the same size, okay? With fractions, they've got to be the same size. Now, when it's split into 4 bits, you can probably see this at the top. We call that quarters. Okay. Now, Mr. Lake, are you feeling hungry?
I am feeling very hungry, yeah.
Feeling very hungry. Okay. Well, I'm not feeling that hungry, so this is good. So I tell you what, I'm going to give you 3 of the bits.
Ooh,
okay.
that sounds good.
So you can have that bit, 1, 2, 3. So he's having 3 of those quarters, and I'll just have 1. I'll have the 1 bit left over. Okay. Now, so I've got. So first of all, how many bits is it split up into altogether?
1, 2, 3, 4.
So
4 bits.
We've got 4 bits, okay? Now, how many bits do I get to eat? Just 1, okay? So I've got, so my numerator, the bits that I've got is 1. Denominator is 4, okay? So I've got 1 bit out of the 4, but we would say that. Do you know how to read that fraction, how to say it properly?
1 quarter.
1 quarter. So I've got 1 quarter, okay? Now, Mr. Lake, well, do you want to have
Yes.
a pen, Mr. Lake?
So, the denominator is going to be the same, isn't it? Because there's still 4 bits of pizza. It's split into quarters. But the numerator is different because although Mr. Fenn had 1 piece, I've got 1, 2, 3. So that must mean that I have how many quarters?
You've got 3 quarters.
Ah, so you've got 1 quarter, I've got 3 quarters.
Yummy. Right, we move on now. I'm going to be honest, Mr. Lake. Today I'm feeling fairly hungry.
Yeah.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I've just eaten 3 quarters of a pizza, so I'm a bit less hungry now.
Okay,
So, yeah.
but still a bit hungry.
Still a bit hungry.
Well, shall we just have the same amount?
Yeah, let's have the same.
Okay,
amount,
so
yeah.
let's see how many bits are there. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it's in quarters already. In 4 bits, quarters. Okay, and they're the same size, exactly the same size. So let's say you can get these 2 bits.
Yeah.
2 bits for Mr. Lake,
Brilliant.
and then 2 bits for me.
Perfect.
Okay. So let's write this as a fraction then. So you got the pen.
I do.
Right. So how many bits did we cut it into?
4.
So we had 4 bits, and then I'm getting 2 bits. Okay, so to say that as a fraction, okay, try and guess at home. Okay, so hopefully you worked out it is 2 quarters. I get 2 quarters, and of course Mr. Lake also gets
2 quarters.
1, 2 bits out of the 4. 2 quarters, okay? Numerator, denominator. Hang on. I've just noticed something. Can you notice anything at home about that? Is there another way of writing this fraction, do you think? Can you? Maybe
It's familiar, doesn't it?
it looks familiar. Now hang on. If we just had an idea, right? If we put that together, right? Actually, suddenly, that's the same as a half, isn't it? If you looked at it like that, it's the same as a half. So 2 quarters is the same. It's the same size as a half, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So we could have just said, you have half, I
Yeah.
have half. You have 2 quarters, I have 2 quarters. It's the same thing. Huh.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, now this is exciting. The pizza has been split into thirds. It's been split into 3 bits. Okay, so I guess we better save 1 bit for Mrs. Lee then. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's say that bit's for you.
Brilliant.
That bit's for me, and then this bit will leave for Mrs. Lee. Okay, so try and think how we would say this as a fraction. Okay, so I've got my 1 piece out of 3 pieces altogether, and we say 1/3. I've got 1/3. Mr. Lake has got 1/3.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Lee has also got 1/3. Now this was exciting. Great news. Okay. Mrs. Lee has baked a very yummy cake.
That's not tasty.
Can almost smell it. Lovely. Now, the good news is, she said it's all for us.
All of it?
Yeah, it is. And I'll be honest, I'm really hungry. Actually, I really like this cake, and and you, I'm hoping, for the purposes of this, are not. Now,
I've eaten a lot of pizza.
You've had a lot of pizza, so maybe I can have a bit more. So actually,
Yeah,
maybe I could
fair.
have these 2 bits of cake, and you could just have that 1 bit. Would that be right?
That suits me. Yeah.
Okay, so we had our cake. It was split into 3 equal pieces. So straight away, our denominator is going to be 3.
Yep. So it's in thirds.
Okay. Well, let's do your bit first. So yours is split into 3 bits, and how many bits are you going to eat, Mr. Lake?
I've got 1 bit.
You've got 1 bit. So your numerator is 1, denominator is 3, and you get 1/3. Okay. Now me, I get 2 lovely bits. So I am getting this amount. Okay, and for this we say 2/3. Yummy. Okay. Now, guys, your activity, okay, if you look in the resources we sent you for Monday, you will see this activity, okay? We'd like you to do this now, okay? So on this side, we've got what fraction does Mr. Lake get, okay? Okay, you can imagine this is on, me and Mr. Lake went to a restaurant on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, okay? And this is how we shared our pizza. This is what Mr. Lake gets, this is what I get, okay? And we'd like you to look at the pictures and write in what fraction we get. So shall we do the first one together?
Yeah, let's do it.
So let's look at this. So Mr. Lake, you are getting this amount here, okay? So it looks to me like you are getting...
I've got 1 piece, haven't I?
Yeah, and I've got 1 piece. They're the same size, so
Yeah.
we're getting. Well, come on, we know that's half a pizza each, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So you've got 1 piece out of the 2 pieces. You've got half, and then I have also got a half. Okay, so we'd like you to go through those and write in your fractions. And at the bottom, there's some special challenges for those of you that are really wanting to challenge yourself. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Remember, you don't need to print it, guys. You can just do it on paper. Just have a look and write on paper the fractions for each one. That's why we've numbered it. So you can write, for example, number 1. I've got a pen. You could write number 1, half. So on one side you could write my fraction, and on the other side you could write Mr. Fenn's. And then you go on to number 2. Okay? So have fun. This looks pretty good. Although I am looking at number 5, Mr. Fenn, and thinking I've been a bit shortchanged there. I'm not going out for dinner with you.
I think that's good. Have fun, and we love when you send this to us on Dojo. So please, with all your work, please do send it to us so we can see how you're getting on. We want you to do really well with this home learning, okay? And we want you to do everything that we send. So please do send it to us on Dojo. Enjoy.
Good luck, guys.